on a Sunday night when they were killed by a man who came out with an AR-15 rifle and took shots at them, killing the two officers, one a deputy, one an officer from the Syracuse Police Department. Right behind me, you're going to see the motorcade of motorcycles, police officers in this honor guard. I'll step out of the shot here so you can get a better view of that. And then following behind will be the Syracuse Police Chief, the Onondaga County Sheriff, the casket itself, flag draped, cared for by the Nicholas Bush Funeral Home here in Rome, as they have been doing since late Sunday night when word spread that Officer Jensen had been shot and killed. Of course, his family, his parents, Michelle and Daniel Jensen, will receive the casket here at the church, as will Father Angelicchio, the pastor here at St. John's. Right now, except for the rumble of those motorcycle engines, there is silence among all the officers gathered in formation, saluting this officer down. The hearse will stop right in front of St. John's Church, which plays host to numerous funerals here for the community of Rome, but none ever like this one before. It will stop. The family will be escorted out to receive the casket. Pallbearers include friends and colleagues of Officer Jensen. They will be involved in the Mass itself, either doing readings, bringing up the gifts during the Mass, There's Officer Jensen's family, quite literally being embraced by the Syracuse Police Department. His parents, his sister, his future brother-in-law, the four of them who have not been left alone for the last 6 days for even a moment without at least a Syracuse police officer nearby to assist them and to offer care and assistance as needed. The organization required to pull off a funeral service like this is immense. The bells tolling of St. John's Church. The neighborhood itself, a century ago, a refuge for Italian immigrants coming to the community of Rome, who built this church brick by brick, not knowing one day they would be hosting one of their own. Officer Jensen himself was a member of this parish. He grew up here in Rome. He graduated from RFA High School, played hockey in Rome, attended Lemoyne College, and remarkably was an accountant before he decided to dedicate his life to public service. The remains of Officer Jensen now inside the vestibule of the church. His parents, his mother and father, being escorted up the stairs. You may have noticed the pallbearers, Michael Malachi, Forrest Gilbert, Grant Prudhomme, Jimmy Zolo, Officer Jensen's partner, Kenny Adams, Tyler Nicholas, Jeffrey Cook, James Wheeler. On one side, his close, longtime friends. On the other side, members of the Syracuse Police Department, also close friends in the same class. As you look now inside the church, it'll take some time for people to enter. The ceremony of receiving the body, blessing the casket, Father Angelicchio and others in the clergy who will be doing that. It'll be a massive Christian burial that will take more than an hour, most likely. There'll be familiar prayers for those who are of the Christian or Catholic faith, and music that's also comforting, familiar, and quite touching and emotional. For example, at communion, they'll be singing Ave Maria. When Officer Jensen and the family exit the church, it'll be the battle hymn of the Republic. Some of the great music that has accompanied so many ceremonial moments like this one, yet none ever like this in the city of Rome. And more than 30 years since there's been one like this in the city of Syracuse, which seems to have been transplanted to this community so wonderfully in such a welcoming way over this last week. Immediately following the family in are those dignitaries that I mentioned, members of Congress, the governor, mayors of both Syracuse and Rome, county executives from Oneida and Onondaga County, past police chiefs, and they'll be followed in by members of the Syracuse Police Department as well. The church itself, not particularly large, but certainly warm and embracing, and the home parish for the Jensen family, as it has been for generations of Romans now. As you look inside, we can hear the bells tolling outside. And for those who find comfort in the sunshine, the warmth, the conditions are just perfect for that today. Now members of the Syracuse Police Department will enter. Led by the chiefs of the department, including Chief Joe Cecil, who has so effectively led the department during the most difficult week a chief can imagine. Chief Cecil, about to enter the church now. You'll be seeing that on your screen in a moment. Was on the force in 1990 for about as long as Officer Jensen was on the force before being shot and killed. Of course, 1990 when Officer Wally Howard was shot and killed on Syracuse's south side, a stretch of more than 33 years since the Syracuse Police Department has had to do this type of funeral planning. Again, more than a generation of officers have passed. And again, quite remarkable that former chiefs like Thompson, Fowler, and Duvall are all here to show that that unity, that bond continues even after you're no longer wearing the uniform. Once the Mass begins, the entrance hymn will be sung, "Be Not Afraid." A familiar opening to funerals that offers great comfort. And then readings including Ecclesiastes 3:1, which is familiar to many throughout music, poetry, liturgy, about to every season there is a time, from the Old Testament. Officer Jensen was a parishioner here at St. John's, and at the age of 29 still held his faith quite dearly. Attended church here on holidays, but also when he could get home on weekends when he wasn't working as a police officer. His family, particularly his mother, quite a devout Catholic, who we've learned, wished him well on Sunday, as she did many times before, that he come home safely. And there's the one time that did not happen. As the funeral mass goes on, hundreds of officers from out of town, from other departments, the Syracuse Fire Department, they will stand at ease outside and listen to the service and be prepared for the exit after the funeral mass. There will be a burial no more than a mile down the road at St. John's Cemetery at the other end of Dominic Street from where we're standing now. That will be private. That'll be for family and close friends. It won't be the same level of grandeur and pomp and circumstance that has been part of this very important funeral ritual taking place here today. Members of the community hoping for a chance to enter the church also are waiting as close family, loved ones, not knowing whether there'll be enough seats inside, but still wanting to be here to show their support that the community of Rome, the community of Syracuse, cares deeply about Officer Jensen and his family. Throughout the week, we've learned so much about the growing level of support, whether it be donations being made online that have exceeded $500,000 at this point, the Towers to Tunnels Foundation that let Deputy Husik's family know that they would be taking care of the family's mortgage on their home, and countless smaller gestures, blue ribbons, children in school wearing blue, to let them know that they stood in support of not just the Syracuse Police or the Onondaga County Sheriff's Department, but police in all walks of life in every community. I mentioned Deputy Husak. His funeral will be Monday at the Expo Center at the State Fairgrounds. Another large turnout will be expected there. A much bigger venue where they will be able to have in the range of 3,000 or 4,000 people sitting inside the Expo Center on Monday morning at 11 o'clock. A different arrangement, but the exact same sentiment that the community is here, the brotherhood of law enforcement stands strong. Leaders of all parties who are here today politically, that's set aside for events like this today. And that'll happen again on Monday, repeated with a different touch, with a tone that's personal to Deputy Husak on that day. This morning, which will stretch into the early afternoon, is for Officer Michael Jensen, 29 years old, born in New Hartford, raised in Rome, graduated from Rome Free Academy, known as a hockey player, known for having a smile or a smirk, as his friends lovingly describe him in his passing. He and his family spent countless weekends traveling for tournaments for hockey throughout the U.S. and Canada. He played club hockey for Lemoyne College. It was a very important part of who he was, and several of his friends on the police force were also his friends from college and friends from hockey, speaking volumes about his connection he makes to people, that those friendships last so long. His family wrote for his obituary that he was a gem in every sense of the word, a dry sense of humor. He could make somebody laugh, and he leaves behind wonderful memories. Paul and Michelle Jensen, his sister Shelly Ann, his brother-in-law Jared Groff of Philly. Shelly Ann and Jared planning to get married in October, and she had hoped that her brother would be there to be her man of honor, which speaks to the closeness of the relationship between brother and sister. And one can only imagine the difficulty she is now going through, the grief she's feeling as the older sister who's lost her younger brother. The church filling up pew after pew with officers from the Syracuse Police Department. As we mentioned, it takes some time for all to enter the church, following the family in. It is nearly full inside right now. What we'll be hearing in terms of personal remarks, Father Paul Angelicchio, I spoke with him on the phone a couple of times this week. He is a native of Rome. He grew up down the street from this church, but he also was the priest who officiated the funeral service for Officer Wally Howard at Assumption Church in Syracuse in 1990. And only through grave coincidence is he, again, 33 years later, the priest who was presiding over this Mass. He will give a homily today, trying to find comfort in Scripture, to offer those who are mourning, who are feeling the pain of losing a friend, a family member, a brother officer. I spoke with County Executive Ryan McMahon as we were waiting here today about the notion that it's been a busy week, to say the least. One that the Syracuse community, Onondaga community, and the community of Rome have not seen in a very long time, and in some cases never before. And the importance that he was stressing of his concern of the moments that come after the funeral. After this funeral today, when the family goes home and finally has a chance to take a breath and realize the gravity of what's happened, or after the funeral on Monday for Deputy Husak, who will feel the same, the county executive trying to keep in mind as a leader of the community, as will Mayor Ben Walsh and Chief Cecil, that the process of grieving continues after the funeral is over, after the burial takes place, after the reception on Griffiths Air Force Base, that will need to be monitored. How are people doing? How are officers doing on the job, off the job? Earlier this week, I had an interaction with an officer who was on the scene when Wally Howard was shot in 1990. And she told me the officers today have no idea how this will change their life. None of us know how it will change their life. In some cases, their lives will change. They'll do great things. Other cases, something may go wrong in their lives and they end up connecting it back to this moment that they had to endure, had to handle, had to get through, and had to be brave enough to get help when needed. But the healing one hopes begins today inside St. John the Baptist Church, where this funeral will send off Officer Jensen and the way he came into this world, baptized and then blessed once again. He did have last rites at the hospital, at Upstate Hospital, late Sunday night. And again, will be sent off with prayers from this community and ultimately burial just down the road later this afternoon. Part of the tradition of being a police officer is a contingent of retired officers also are here that have put on their suits, put on their Sunday best to be here to show that these traditions continue. I recognize several of the faces from the Syracuse police force, now retired. And again, they are among the group that had gone through this 33 years ago, offering their support today. The state police themselves deserve tremendous credit, although I'm sure they would defer, for being the organizers, the executors of this massive operation here today, taking some of those logistics off the table of the Syracuse Police Department. And more retired officers from Syracuse Police and other agencies are here. One can only imagine how time has changed for the family of Officer Jensen. Anyone in our community who's been following this throughout the week, whether it's directly, indirectly, following it on the news, reading about it, has felt that sense of what day of the week really is this? When did that happen? Well, it happened Sunday night in a call that started out as what often is described as routine, but none of them really are. Officer Jensen and his partner stopped a car. The car took off. Inside the car turned out to be the man who would ultimately take his life on several miles away in the town of Salina, in a quiet suburban neighborhood where, once again, as of yesterday, people were out walking their dog, mowing their lawn, still with an eye towards the home where this all took place. Some paying tribute with flowers in the front lawn, others just trying to go about their business, but there's no way they could be doing that without also considering what had happened there Sunday night and the heroic efforts to save the lives of both Deputy Husick and Officer Jensen that night. They are being honored as heroes today. Officer Michael Jensen being honored as a hero for that commitment, that selfless commitment to his community, to his job, to protecting others, to keeping other people safe. His story is even more remarkable when you consider he got a degree in accounting from Lemoyne College, got his MBA, worked for Bankers Healthcare Group, worked for Turning Stone as an accountant, but that was not the job for him, according to family and friends. Father Paul Angelicchio will again be presiding over the service. Let's take you inside and listen to the Mass of Christian burial for Officer Michael Jensen.
First, I want to welcome everyone and thank every single person in this room for being here in this moment. I know that Michael is smiling down because so many people, inside and out, are here to celebrate him today. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Jared Groff. I'm Michael's soon-to-be brother-in-law and fiance to his sister, Shelly Ann. On behalf of his parents, Paul and Michelle, his sister Shelly, his aunts, uncles, cousins, countless friends, family, I want to say thank you. A special thank you to the Syracuse Police Department, who have been gracious, kind, and so many other words that I don't have the time to say. And I want to say thank you to every single person who has sent a text, made a phone call, sent a card, sent a meal, sent multiple meals, sent a thought, sent a prayer for this family, most of all for Michael. The outpouring of support from all over has been overwhelming. I want to start with why we're here. To mourn, but more importantly, to celebrate Michael Jensen. Michael Jensen was a police officer. He was a Syracuse resident. He was a Rome native. He was a Lemoyne Dolphin 2 times over, graduate, undergraduate, but he was more than those things. He was charismatic, he was charming, he was funny, talented, outgoing, caring, kind. Michael was a goofball, a prankster, a headache, a hockey player, really talented hockey player. He was a Bills fan, a comedian, fan of Labatt Blue Light. Sorry, Michelle. A dog lover, a dog antagonizer, especially to Marco and Crosby. He's a son, a brother, cousin, nephew, friend, colleague. Michael was so many things to so many different people. And all of that mattered. But Michael did what mattered most. He lived life to the fullest, and he made an impact on everyone he worked with, everyone he spoke with, everyone he simply crossed paths with. And that impact is going to last forever. I want to let his sister Shelly, his parents, Paul, Michelle, share some of that with you.
I'm Shelly, Michael's sister, and I'm the one who was supposed to have him the longest of anybody. He was my little brother, but I was really lucky and he was actually my friend. He did follow me to Lemoyne, so I did that first. Growing up, he was ridiculous and would hide himself underneath all the pillows, so just one eye was out, and you'd walk into a room and just look and see his one little eyeball staring out at you. Or he'd hide in the closet until it was dark and just appear as soon as you were partially asleep. He'd swap wasabi for guacamole and think it was hilarious when you spit it everywhere. Or run around with his paintball gun or ride his bike around the city, just causing mayhem. But he was my little brother, and he was supposed to do those annoying things, and I know that there's a lot of people who also see him as a little brother. As we got older, I received many memes and videos about weenie dogs, shared a lot of beers with him, and most importantly, he was the one who commiserated with me when these two got on our nerves. Whether it be me and her bickering and him telling me I was either dramatic, correct, or he would then receive a call from my mom, call me and say, "What is mom on about now?" And when I would tell him, he would tell me I was an idiot and that I deserved what I got. Or I would end up with a call from my mom and she'd say, "Do you know what your brother did or what he said?" And yeah, you were much harder on my little brother because he was the one who was always testing the limits way more than I was. I was the safe one. He would make up ridiculous little lies to convince my parents that I had done something just so it would take the heat off of whatever it is that he had done. And even though he would tell those little lies, like, "Oh, Shell got a speeding ticket," which I never have been pulled over, and I will be using my card if I ever do. He never ratted me out. Michael told me in January that he got a tattoo. He did not tell my parents. But Michael knew that I got mine at 18 years old, so they now know after 13 years that I also have a tattoo, and Michael had my back more than anybody else's. He was supposed to be the man of honor at my wedding in October, which is going to be really hard. When I asked him to be my man of honor, instead of, some people scoffed at me and said, "Why is your brother your man of honor?" Or, "Really?" And he just said, "Does my tux have to match the other dresses?" I'll leave one parting memory of my brother. When my cousin Ashley got married, I was at the casino, a Turning Stone, and Michael, Steven's husband, and all of his friends are very, very tall. Michael was not the tallest, but he somehow convinced them all to pick him up and grab that glittery saddle at the top of the Tin Rooster, where he would have stayed if he had not been immediately escorted out. So that's who Michael was. He was the life of the party. He would have my back for anything, especially when it came to them. And no matter what I asked, he did it. And he was the best. And I shouldn't be an only child. I love you, brother.
Glasses on. Can't see. I'm Paul Jensen, Michael's father. Since I couldn't swim, Michelle and I were adamant about the kids learning how to swim. She had them in swimming lessons every Sunday, every summer growing up. I think I was a pusher behind that because I like water, but I can't swim. We were on a vacation in St. Pete Beach. I remember standing out in the water with Michael, and about waist deep. That was about as far as I was going to ever go. And there was two people in distress out in the water. They'd gone out further than what they'd planned, and the bar moved, and they were in a panic. And Michael was the closest one to them, and And he looked at him, and he turned around and looked to the shore and went, "Geez, here, I gotta go out there." So he went out and rescued them. And on the way back, he had the girl, and she's flailing in the water and everything. And Michael said to her, looked at her and said to her, "You can stand up now." And he walked away from her. One of the most entertaining stories is the day that I lit myself on fire. Michael always got what he wanted. Didn't matter what it was. And it was 4th of July, hot, humid day, and we hadn't put the boat in the water for a couple of years, but he wanted the boat in the water. So I said, "Okay, I'll go out and get it started." Well, it wouldn't start. I'm an old farm boy, very mechanically inclined and everything, and it just wouldn't start. So I got an idea, I'll just get a soda can and dump a little gasoline down the carburetor, and it would fire off. And it kept doing that. And Michael was the one turning the key. And I said, "Michael, this time, when it fires off, just hold the key." Well, as I took that soda can up to dump a little more gas in, I accidentally hit the side of the thing and it spilled all over my hand. Of course, my first reaction was, "Wipe it off!" And I lit myself on fire and didn't know what to do with the can, so I threw it over the side of the boat, and Michael's still cranking away. Shelly Ann was in the kitchen. She's screaming, "Drop! Stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll." And I'm like, "I got to get out of this boat." Michael's still cranking. Shell was upstairs yelling, "What? What?" And so I tried to go over the opposite side of where I threw the can, and I tripped and went out of the boat head first. And I only had like a 5 feet area between the trailer and that to land, and I said, "Oh boy, this is going to hurt." And we hit the ground, and I'm rolling. I can only roll so far, and then I'd roll back the other way. And it wasn't going out, and I'm laying, and all of a sudden, something's just beating me, and I was like, "What the heck is going on?" And it was Michael. He got out of the boat with a sandal, and he was beating me with it, trying to put it out. And I said, "Stop." I said, "That hurts." But I had no injuries because of the perspiration that was on my body. I never had a mark. Just hurt pride. And that's who Michael was. He was funny, serious, practical, and he was always the one who was willing to lend a helping hand or a flip-flop. He saved lives before he ever became or thought of becoming a police officer. He will always be remembered for the lives he saved as my son. And my nephew fell in the pool. We're grateful for him. There was another D1 football player down in Cancun that he also saved from drowning. Michael Jensen, Officer Jensen of the Syracuse Police Department. I don't know what to tell you guys. We had a wonderful life with him. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for being here. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Michelle Jensen. But most importantly, I'm Michael's mom. Michael was born on December 7th, 1994, Pearl Harbor Day. When the minute he came out, they asked you, make sure everything's okay, and then they say, "You need a name for the baby." Said, "Michael." The nurse looked at me as serious as could be and said, "Are you sure?" Michaels are known to be pranksters, and naughty. So I'd like to share three memories that fit those. One is in the beginning of his life, one is in the middle, and one was just this April 1st. Michael was about 3 years old, and I decided to bring him to church. And it was wintertime, so he had on his little blue jacket and these little blue quilted gloves, nice padding on the fingers. And I took him, and it was just Michael and Mom, and Paul and Shelly Ann stayed behind. Paul was in the basement working on the basement. And I took him out to the garage, and the way our garage was, the door opener was on the side. So I hit the door opener, and I walked around to open the door and get his car seat ready. And I hear, Mom, I need you. I said, okay, Michael, I'll be right there. No, Mom, I need you right now. So I get out of the car, I walk back around the back, and there is Michael Jensen suspended. He had stuck his little glove into the loop at the bottom of the door, and he just rode it up. I picked him up by the underarms, walked him in the house, down to the basement, and presented him to his father and said, here is your son. He was, the next little story I'd like to share is when he tried out for the varsity baseball team at RFA. Michael was known for his beautiful brown curly hair. Silky, nice little curls. Okay. They decide, I guess, whatever night before making the team is called, that they're going to shave each other's heads. So the next morning, I walked downstairs. Paul was standing there. Michael was kind of hiding around the corner. And I come around, and all his beautiful hair was gone. I didn't know if I had to cry or get sick to my stomach. We had to call the hairdresser, Devin Trifoletti, where are you? His mom took care of it. Send him right over. And the last and most final one that happened just this year, when he grew up on April Fool's Day, he would take tape and he'd tape the faucets shut. Bathroom, kitchen, the other bath, didn't matter, tape them shut. So Mom's getting ready for work. I go, turn on one faucet. All of a sudden it's spraying all over the place, all over. I had to change my clothes. I wanted to kill him. This year, this April 1st, I sent him a text message, and I said, handsome son, your mother's going to miss the spray on April Fool's Day. And he sent me back a text, little emoji, heart little emoji, laugh out loud. And I'm so happy that I did it because I have that to keep for the rest of my life. One thing some of you know, Michael used to say that I didn't always answer when he called Mom. And it's true. I didn't, probably. I was doing something else. I was busy. So he'd say Mom twice. If I didn't answer to Mom by the second one, all of a sudden you'd hear in this deep voice, Michelle. Michelle. And then I'd have to turn around. So those are just little things that I wanted to share with you that are fond memories that I'm going to keep close to my heart for as long as I live. I was incredibly lucky because I got to be Michael's mother for what would be 29 very beautiful years. And Michael got to be my handsome son, which is what I always called him, Michael Jensen, my handsome son. God bless you.
With my little brother, but I was really lucky, and he was actually my friend. he did follow me to Lemoyne, so I did that first. Growing up, he was ridiculous and would hide himself underneath all the pillows, so just when I was out and he'd walk into a room and just look and see his one little eyeball staring out at you, or he'd hide in the closet until it was dark and just appear as soon as you were partially.
A reading from the book of Ecclesiastes. There is an appointed time for everything, and a time for every affair under the heavens, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to uproot the plant, a time to kill, and a time to heal, a time to tear down, and a time to build, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones, and a time to gather them, a time to embrace, and a time to be far from the embraces, a time to seek, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away, a time to rend, and a time to sow, a time to be silent, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. What advantage has the worker from his toil? I have considered the task which God has appointed for men to be busied about. He has made everything appropriate to its time, and has put the timeless into their hearts, without men's ever discovering, from beginning to end, the work which God has done. The word of the Lord.
I fear no you now to come forth for the second reading.
A reading from St. Paul's letter to Timothy. I, for my part, am already being poured out like a libation. The time of my dissolution is near. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. From now on, a merited crown awaits me. On that day, the Lord, just judge that he is, will award it to me, and not only to me, but to all who have looked for his appearing with eager longing. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Sisters and brothers, the Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You have faith in God. Have faith also in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. If there were not, would I have told you that I'm going to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back again to take you with me, so that where I am, you also may be. Where I am going, you know the way." Jesus said to him, Thomas said to him, "Master, I do not know where you are going. How can we know the way?" Jesus said to him, "I am the way, and the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Please be seated. This morning, on behalf of all of us here at St. John the Baptist Parish, on behalf of Bishop Douglas Lucia, the Bishop of the Diocese of Syracuse, we offer our deepest sympathy to Michael's family. As far as all the priests who are gathered here today, there's a sense of oneness in faith, and we extend that to all of you. It is difficult, I think, at times like this, to find the proper words to say and how to express those words. But there's two things here that are powerful today. One is our love for Michael, and that can't be taken away. Not even death will separate us from that. That's how much we loved him and cared for him. But second, and so important, is our faith. Our faith in Jesus Christ. Our faith that gives us hope. Our faith that tells us that one day we will all be together again in God's kingdom. That's our hope. That's what we believe. That's why we are Easter people who believe in the resurrection of the dead. That's what brings us here today. The Scriptures that the family chose for today, I think speak volumes. Because whenever we listen to God's word, that word that's so powerful, that word that's so alive, God talks to us. And we need that. In our world today, in our society today, in our communities today, we need to hear God's word directing and leading us. Beautiful first reading from the book of Ecclesiastes speaks that there's an appointed time for everything, time for every affair under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die. This little bit further on, it says a time to mourn and a time to laugh. Well, right now we're mourning, but we'll laugh. A few moments ago, his family came forth and shared some beautiful memories. We laughed. That's what Michael would want us to do today, to celebrate his life. He was baptized here. He was made his first communion here. He made his confirmation here. And now we celebrate this Mass of Resurrection, a Mass of new life for him here in his home parish. He would want all this. All of you who knew him, I'm sure all of you in blue today especially, if I had all of you come up here to tell a story, we'd be here for 3 months. And each of you would have something different to say about him. An experience that you had, an event that took place, a gathering at a bar, or whatever it may have been over the course of your relationship with him. You'd have a memory. See, for us, as we grow older, we hang on to those memories. Those memories are precious gifts given to us by God, so that when you do think about him, you'll smile. You'll have a tear. But he's a part of the fabric of your life because of the person that he was. He was unique in value, a gift given to us by God. And he lived his life to the best of his ability. St. Paul tells Timothy in that second reading, I've run the race. I've done my best. Now I see the victory in front of me, which is the kingdom of heaven. He sees that. Now, we all wish there would have been more than 29 years of life. We can't control events. We can't control things that happen in our world. But we can control ourselves. That's important. We need that relationship with God, each of us. We've lost that. We need that now more than ever before. Because there's power in the goodness, in the love, in the comfort that comes to each of us from Jesus Christ. That's why the Lord in that gospel this morning says to us, do not let your hearts be troubled. Have faith in God and faith in me. We need that. We need that faith. All of you, his police family I'm addressing right now in a special way. He loved you. When he said he was going to become a police officer, Michelle came right to me and says, what am I going to do? This is what he wants. And we prayed. We also got the medal from St. Michael the Archangel, all those things that we gave him. When you become this family, here, you're so unique. You're so beautiful in what you do and say. I know because I was the police chaplain for the city of Syracuse for 22 years. And I think back, whenever an event like this takes place, the big event that we had in the death of Wally Howard was the first one that I ever did. I hope this is the last one that I ever do. We as a community, our police officers, our first responders, our firefighters, we thank you. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all that you do for us. You need to hear that. You need to hear that you are appreciated. You need to hear that you are good and that we love you as a church as a community, as believers, we're there for you, just like you're there for all of us every single day of your lives. When you leave your home, not knowing what's going to happen, if you're going to return or not, and you do that for us. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and all of us as a community here. We thank you, and I know Michael would want us to do that today. So I ask you to join with me, all of you here, to give our police officers a round of applause on behalf of Michael.
For every affair under the heavens, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to uproot the plant.
Thank you. In that gospel today, Jesus challenges us. He says that he is the way and the truth and the life. Michael believed that. He had a strong faith in his own particular way. We know that. His mother knows it better than anybody. We said that. Michael was a good man, an honest man, a wonderful brother, a wonderful family member, a good person, a good police officer, a member of this parish. But Michael was only 29 years old. May his soul and the souls of all the faithful departed rest in peace. Please stand. Brothers and sisters, Jesus Christ is risen from the dead and sits at the right hand of the Father, who intercedes for his church. Confident that God hears the voices of those who trust in the Lord, we join now our prayers to his.
Our response will be, Lord, hear our prayer. That the bishops and priests of the church and all who preach the gospel may be given the strength to express in action the word they proclaim. Lord, hear our prayer.
We pray, hear our prayer.
For Michael, who was given the promise of eternal life in baptism, that he may be admitted to the company of the saints. Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayer.
For Michael's family, that they may be given hope, peace, and consolation, treasuring the memories they have of Michael. Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayer.
For Lieutenant Michael Husak of the Onondaga County Sheriff's Department, for his family at this time of great loss, that God may give them comfort and peace. Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayer.
For police officers, firefighters, emergency medical technicians, and all who risk their lives for us, that God will bless their efforts and keep them safe. Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayer.
For all of us assembled here to worship in faith, that we may be gathered together again in God's kingdom, Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayer.
For all the intentions in our parish book of prayer, and for your own personal intentions, which you can add in silence now. Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayer. Hear the prayers of those, O God of mercy, along with the prayers made for all the deceased. Grant them entrance into the kingdom of heaven, to be blessed and rest in everlasting peace. And we ask this through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
I invite you now to please be seated. I invite Ryan and Mason, Ryan, Devin, and Sebastian now to bring the gifts to the altar. Pray, brothers and sisters, that my sacrifice and yours may be acceptable to God, the Almighty Father.
May the Lord accept the sacrifice of your hands for the praise and glory of his name, for our good and for the whole Holy Church.
Look favorably on our offerings, O Lord, so that your departed servant Michael may be taken up into the glory of your Son, in whose great mystery of love we are all united. And we ask this through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit,
Lift up your hearts,
we lift them up to the Lord.
and let us give thanks to the Lord our God.
It is right and just.
It is truly right and just, our duty and our salvation, always and everywhere to give you thanks. Lord, Holy Father, Almighty and eternal God, through Christ who is our Lord. In him the hope of a blessed resurrection has dawned, that those saddened by the certainty of dying might be consoled by the promise of immortality to come. Indeed, for your faithful Lord, life is changed, not ended. And when this earthly dwelling turns to dust, an eternal dwelling is made ready for them in heaven. And so with angels and archangels, with thrones and dominions, and with all the hosts and powers of heaven, we sing now the hymn of your glory.
Holy, 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 Lord God of
Heaven and earth are full of your glory. Hosanna in the highest. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.
Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna in the highest.
You are indeed holy, O Lord, and all you have created rightly gives you praise. But through your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, by the power and working of the Holy Spirit, you give life to all things and make them holy. And you never cease to gather a people to yourself, so that from the rising of the sun to its setting, a pure sacrifice may be offered to your name. Therefore, O Lord, we humbly implore you, by the same Spirit, graciously make holy these gifts we have brought to you for consecration, that they may become the body and blood of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, at whose command we celebrate these mysteries. For on the night he was betrayed, he himself took bread, and giving you thanks, he said the blessing, broke the bread, and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take this, all of you, and eat of it. For this is my body, which will be given up for you." In a similar way, when supper was ended, he took the chalice, and giving you thanks, he said the blessing, and gave the chalice to his disciples, saying, "Take this, all of you, and drink from it. For this is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. Do this in memory of me." The mystery of faith. Keep in mind that Jesus Christ has died for us and is risen from the dead. He is our saving Lord. He is Lord. we celebrate the memorial of the saving passion of your Son, his wondrous resurrection and ascension into heaven, and as we look forward to his second coming, we offer you in thanksgiving this holy and living sacrifice. Look, we pray, upon the oblation of your church, and recognizing the sacrificial victim by whose death you will to reconcile us to yourself. Grant that we who are nourished by the body and blood of your Son may be filled with his Holy Spirit and become one body, one spirit in Christ.
May he make of us an eternal offering to you, so that we may obtain an inheritance with your elect, especially with the most blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of God, with blessed Joseph, her spouse, with our patron saint, St. John the Baptist, with your blessed apostles and glorious martyrs, and with all the saints, on whose constant intercession in your presence we rely for unfailing help.
May this sacrifice of our reconciliation, we pray, O Lord, advance the peace and salvation of all the world. Be pleased to confirm in faith and charity your pilgrim church on earth, with your servant Francis, our Pope Douglas, our bishop, the order of bishops, all the clergy, and the entire people you have gained for your own.
Listen graciously to the prayers of this family, all whom you have summoned before you in your compassion, O merciful Father. Gather to yourself all your children scattered throughout the world.
Remember your servant Michael, who you have called from this world to yourself. Grant that he who was united with your Son in a death like his may also be one with him in his resurrection, when from the earth he will rise up in the flesh those who have died, and transform our lowly body after the pattern of his own glorious body. To our departed brothers and sisters too, and to all who were pleasing to you, from their passing in this life, give kind admittance to your kingdom. There we hope to enjoy forever the fullness of your glory, when every tear will be wiped away from our eyes. For seeing you are God as you are, we shall be like you for all the ages, and praise you without end, through Christ our Lord, to whom you bestow on the world all that is good. Through him and with him and in him, O God, Almighty Father, in the unity of the Holy Spirit, all glory and honor is yours forever and ever. Jesus taught us to call God our Father, so with one voice let us sing. Lord Jesus Christ, who said to his apostles, "Peace I leave you, my peace I give you," look not on our sins, but on the faith of your church, and graciously grant her peace and unity in accordance with your will, who live and reign forever and ever. Amen. The peace of the Lord be with you all.
And with your spirit.
And let us offer each other now a sign of Christ's peace. Behold the Lamb of God. Behold him who takes away the sins of the world. Blessed are those called to the supper of the Lamb. Lord, I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof, but only say the word, and my soul shall be healed. May the body and blood of Christ bring us all to everlasting life. invite you to please be seated. Now I invite Syracuse Police Officer Forrest Gilbert, Officer Grant Perhum, and Captain David Mentz to come forth now, and they will share with us a few words.
I guess I'm going first. Those of you who don't know me, my name's Grant Prudhomme. I work with Jensen. We went to college together, and those that do know me know that I can't speak, write, or read, so this is going to be a problem. I just want to thank everyone for coming. There's people from all over North America just to celebrate Jensen. I just want to tell a couple stories. First time I met him was day one orientation at Lemoyne. We couldn't be more opposite. I'm a hick from a small town upstate, and he's wearing his preppy pants, polo shirt. Not someone I would go up to and say hello, but I didn't have to because he did that for me. I remember specifically I was wearing an Ottawa Senators hooded sweatshirt because he came right up to me and asked me if I liked the Senators. I said, yeah, I grew up pretty close to there, and they've been my favorite team my entire life. Never met him before. Immediately told me how much of a loser I was for liking the worst team in the league. It didn't last long though, because then I found out he was a Red Wings fan, and I could dig right back at him. He was just so witty. He could chirp about anything, and we became friends immediately. We ended up spending every day together. We talked about hockey. We joined the team together. We spent every night in each other's rooms, whether it was mine or his. We did a lot of stuff on weekends that I can't mention here in front of Michelle. When it came to hockey, he was always the best. He was the best one on our team from day one. I had to work so hard just to make the team, and this kid just comes walking on, doesn't even try. He's already our best player. I was lucky enough to be on his line. My job was to make sure he didn't get hurt. Didn't work out that well because he was hurt every single day. He was hurt every day that we practiced. Game time, he was ready to go, and he would go out there and score a hat trick. But he did not like to practice. And our coach took practices very seriously. Great coach, knew a lot more than both of us. But I remember when we were playing teams that were better than us, he would have us do this trap where all of us would sit in the neutral zone and just wait for them to come to us to try to keep them from scoring. Jensen hated it. I didn't like it because Jensen didn't like it. Jensen wants to go out there and do stuff himself. So we'd be in practice practicing this, and he would go off script, and Coach would yell at us a lot. And I remember one specific time, Jensen was so mad, and Coach got in his face. Him and I were sitting next to each other on the bench, and if he goes, if you two don't like it, then leave. I'm not leaving. Jensen? The kid gets straight up and skates right off the ice. 5 minutes goes by. He's not coming back. Coach comes over to me and goes, go get your boy. I go into the locker room, he's got all of his gear off. just sitting there. He's not going anywhere, but he's just sitting there. I'm like, dude, let's go. We got to get back out there. He goes, yeah, I just need a minute. So I go back out. 5 minutes later, he's back out there like nothing happened. And it just shows how loyal he is. He would never leave his team like that. He just needed a moment to cool down himself. And that's one of the few times I've ever even seen him mad. He doesn't get mad. But in that moment, he just needed a minute to cool. And I don't know whether he went there to just sit in silence or have a prayer. But he needed to go in there and have his moment. And he was right back out there with the rest of the team. Next story I have is from a couple years later. I had graduated. He had graduated, but he stayed for his master's degree. We were still best friends. I lived 2 hours north, and I remember every Friday I would drive 2 hours south to Syracuse and stay in his hole-in-the-wall, terrible apartment on Maple Street. Now, I didn't know how bad the city was, but Maple Street's not a good street to live on. I'd stay there all weekend. We'd hang out. We'd party. We'd just have a good time. And then I would leave Sunday and go right back to my construction job. We all took the test together, myself, Jensen, and Forrest, senior year of college. That was back when it was hard to get this job. So it took us a few years. One specific night was a Saturday. We went to Coleman's up on Tip Hill. That was his favorite spot. We would go in together, and I wouldn't see him again for a while. He would talk to every single person in that bar. I would just find a corner with my beer and just hang out. 2 o'clock rolls around, it's time to go home. They don't have Uber like they do nowadays, it's taxis. And my phone's dead. I'm looking for Jensen everywhere. I can't find him. So 2:30 rolls around and I'm like, well, I guess he's gone. I don't know how I'm going to get home, so I guess I start walking. I mapped it last night. It's 4.2 miles back to Maple Street. Right through the west side. Which I didn't know was bad back then, but I was an idiot. So I start walking Fayette Street the whole way. I get to Fayette and Salina, which I mapped exactly halfway, 2.1 miles. Who do I see? This fool walking towards me with his dumb smile and that silly wave he does with his entire arm. He's just yelling, "Hey, buddy," over and over again. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, "We forgot you. I was walking back to get you." So that fool walked all the way back. And then we spent another 2.1 miles back to Maple Street walking, having a good time and just talking. He never let me forget that incident because I owed him, and I owed him forever. He could have just let me walk the rest of the way and I would have got mugged, is what he always said. Skip ahead a few more years. Jensen graduated. I'm working as a cop. He had a great job, making good money, way more money than I was making. Safe job, sitting at a desk, playing on the computer all day. And he hated it. Forrest and I would tell stories about our job all the time, and that's all he ever wanted. He wants to be a part of someone's life, and he was a part of every single person's life that he touched in Syracuse. He can't sit at a desk by himself and type on a computer. He needs to interact with someone every second of the day. So the story I have about him being a police officer, I already looked it up, so I can say this because the statute of limitations will not get Zolo in trouble for this. So he's at the mall with Zolo. They're working side by side. His mom's there. she made a big stack of cookies. Big stack of cookies for the entire police department. I don't know where they were in the mall, but I know that her car was on the other side of the mall. So Jensen and Zola, being the good kids they are, offered to drive her from where they are to her car so she can drive to the public safety building and give us our cookies. So they're walking. They walk to their car. They get in the patrol car. Zola's in the back seat, locked in. Jensen's driving, and Michelle's in the passenger seat. All of a sudden, a larceny comes out of Macy's. They can't let that go. So I remember the dispatch because I was working. The guy was running through the parking lot, headed towards Park Street, and then he was headed towards Wolf Street. Also not a great area in the city. Then I hear Jensen and Zolo say they can see him and he's running. I don't know Michelle's in the car at this point. But I don't get to work that often with Zola or Jensen. They work a different shift. So I'm like, I'm going to get there. I want to hang out with them. I want to see what they can do. I turn around. I get there in seconds. They're on the ground with the guy in the middle of Wolf Street, getting him into custody. I help them up. They're like, hey, can I throw him in the back of your car? Sure. I throw him in the back of my car. I turn around, and I see Michelle in the passenger seat, looking straight ahead, not making eye contact with me. She looks so terrified. I've never seen anything. She looked white as a ghost. I went over to say hello to Michelle, and those of you who know her, the only thing she said to me was hello, which was the first time I haven't heard her say at least 20 sentences. I'm just laughing so hard. So I end up taking the suspect to jail for them. They go back and get Michelle back to her car safe and sound. Michelle texts me an hour later. I have the exact text. It says, Grant, I'm so sorry I couldn't talk to you, but I was in shock. I can't believe I got to see you in those circumstances. I was so afraid and I could not talk. But I hope you're doing well and that you have a wonderful Christmas. It just goes to show, that's just Jensen. He has to be a part of everything, and he loved that he put his mom through that. And I'm sure that's something he talked about forever. Some final things I want to leave you with is, I just want to thank Jensen's family. Paul, Michelle, you raised the best son that you possibly could have. And thank you so much for sharing him with us. Shelly Ann, I mean, he talked about you all the time. He wanted me and Forrest to go to Philadelphia every weekend. He wanted you to show us all the best spots. We never made it out there, unfortunately, but he always wanted to. The last thing is something I heard this week at Jensen's family's house. I can't give credit to this man because I don't know who he was, but he grabbed me by the arm and gave me a hug. He said, thank you so much for what you guys do and what you do for Jensen's family. But the thing that stuck with me is what he said. He said, don't ever let that door close. And he gestured to Jensen's front door. And I think that's so important. I don't know if it's a text, a call, or if you're ever driving by, you got to stop in, because they'll love every second of it. And this doesn't just go out to me or Forrest or his friends at SBD, but his friends in Rome too. You guys gotta go stop in. So I know we'll never forget him, and I know his legacy will never fade away. But we need to share it with everyone, because that's what he would have wanted. He wants everyone to know who he is. So, like I said, if you guys are ever in Rome, stop by the house. Go see the family and just tell a story to them. And just don't ever let that door close. Thank you.
I'll behave, I promise. Oh, all right. I'm Forrest Gilbert. He's Michael's teammate, roommate, brother in blue, friend. I want to make this short because there's a lot of people with gold badges in here, and I promised his mom I would behave, and I don't know if I should be in a church. I just want to thank you guys, Paul, Michelle, Shelly Ann, the squad, all the friends and family, for accepting me as an honorary member of the city of Rome. It's really been an honor to grow up with you guys ever since I met Jens. I feel at home, I feel welcome, I feel loved here. It's just when you need to get away from all the stress of work and the beautiful city that Syracuse is, you can go out on Delta, you can go to DiMattio's, you can go to the Tucalana Club. You can just do whatever we have to do to get away from what our realities are. I met Jensen at Lemoyne College. I transferred in a couple years late, and I played hockey earlier in my life, so I was like, why don't we give it another shot? We started with summer practices, getting a mesh hold with the team, meeting everyone, and Jensen stuck right out to me. Walked into the locker room with his thong flip-flops that he always wears, shorts that are too big for him, and just all over the place. I was like, that's my kind of guy. Me and him grew closer over time. I think that was due to the fact that some of our hobbies were chasing girls and drinking a couple beers and making very outlandish comments that people don't really understand except for us. Stories about Jensen. He's had a lot of close calls in the last couple of years. Some of the things that we've been very thankful for. A couple of years ago, we were at the house. I was actually at work, and he started having some weird stuff going on with his hands, and they would get tight. So we took him to the hospital. He's sitting there, he's laughing. As soon as he comes back to it, Snapchat, selfies. To everyone, he's like, I made it, guys. They didn't get me. It's just like the small things to him were big to us. He would brush it off. He would go home the next day and be like, I could eat. What's for lunch? It's the fact that over time, it should get better, might not get better. There might be that little piece that's always going to hurt. But then you look back and you remember all the nights we had in Rome, at Mason's house, at DiMattio's again, at the golf course, Tucalana Club, G Club. And you realize that's what it's all about. The boys took me in as one of their own when they didn't have to. I appreciate everything you guys have ever done for me. And he has his personal family, he has the friend's family, he has his work family. And you guys all mean the most to me. The bond he has the bond he has with his coworkers, with his classmates, the way he brings them up, gets them squared away, and establishes a baseline for them to carry themselves. Some of his classmates, they work on my shift. They're with me. And there's no doubt in my mind that they'll take care of me the same way that they take care of him. And I just want to end with a story. Every weekend we would come into the house. He would open the door. He would walk in. Mrs. Jensen would be like, "Is that my handsome son, Michael? Is it my handsome son, Michael?" And he'd just brush it off, like, blah, blah, blah. And then she'd hear a second pair of footsteps. She was like, "And his handsome friend Forrest?" And that always stuck with me. She always called him my handsome son. The way you raised him was outstanding. Both of you. He was a man with honor, respect. Yes, he was funny and goofy, but he was never disrespectful. Even on his bad days, he never went out of his way to put anyone down. He tried to guide people, and when he didn't have anything nice to say, he usually didn't say it out loud. And referring back to the comment that Grant was talking about at the end, the story at your house earlier this week, I was going to touch on that as well. That the fact is, time's going to pass, and it's going to feel like people are slowing down and you're not feeling as loved, but that's never going to be the thing. I know him and I will always be walking through your door. You're stuck with us now. I know all these guys, they'll be coming through the door because you're stuck with them too. I just want you to know that I appreciate everything you guys have done for me and done for him. And I wish there was more that we could have done. And at the end of the day, I just love him, and I'm going to miss him. And this one hurt the most.
All right, guys, you got to give me a minute here. I got some stuff to get set up, so give me 2 seconds. Yes, somebody will get a picture of me when I get done here. All right, before I get going, I just first want to say that I was Michael's commanding officer on his shift, the 3rd Platoon. Michael was assigned to me for just over about a year and a half when he was working there. He, every day in roll call, brought that eat and grin looking at me with something that he was going to say. So before we start really getting into it, first I just got to thank some people, most importantly, made this whole day happen. For the dignitaries' attendance, the governor, attorney general, both county executives, Oneida County, Congressman Williams, all of the people, the mayor of Rome, Mayor Walsh, most importantly on our behalf, you guys, all your support is what makes this happen. It could not have happened without you and all the support you provided us. So for everyone here in this room, thank you from the bottom of our hearts and our agency for everything you've done to make Michael send off absolutely exceptional. For law enforcement agencies across the state that dedicated their time and energy and effort to come here, we can't thank you enough for such a tribute that we're giving Michael and his family today. It's so touching, and I know Michelle, Paul, and Shelly-Ann, you guys will never forget this day. It's because of what the men and women who've come here today to pay respect have done. So, law enforcement agencies locally as well. I just obviously want to take a minute to thank the Rome Police Department, Oneida County Sheriff's Office as well. You guys have been awesome, and I really want to single out the New York State Police. Superintendent, I cannot tell you the level of gratitude we have for what your agency has done for us today and for the coverage you provided us. Your agency's gone above and beyond, and I can't thank you enough on behalf of everybody that works at our agency. Thank you, sir. So, just to give you a little bit of history, Michael joined the Syracuse Police Department on February 26, 2022. After that, he was assigned to the 3rd Platoon. As a commanding officer, try to get to know everybody and get a little bit of piece of information about them, and see if you can just have something every day when you see somebody. Hey, how's this going, or how you doing with this? And so I did that. Found out Michael was a hockey player. I was very excited. I've played hockey all my life. Played on multiple police-related teams. It's been a great part of my career that I absolutely love to enjoy. I'm like, we need some new young blood. I knew, Jimmy Zola played at West Jenny too. I'm like, we're getting some good guys. And I don't know, I might have been asking Jimmy, I'm like, where'd Michael play? He's like, RFA. I'm like, oh boy. Jimmy and I both went to West Jenny, so hopefully nobody doesn't think worse of me after this year. Yeah, we stole one, so Jimmy and I had, about 24 hours of bragging rights, and then we watched the replay the next day, so we had to eat crow. So sorry about that, guys. But yeah, and that was the first thing that brought Michael and I together was hockey. So, I obviously didn't hold my bias being, West Jenny guy against Michael, and, we were going to all be one big happy family. So, first few months go by pretty uneventful. The only thing that really I would, Michael from would be the constant flow of court cases that would come back to me through my email system with Jensen's name on them. Wrong penal law sections, misspellings, improper DR number, et cetera, et cetera. Some of you guys are laughing, but there's a lot of other offenders that I see out there as well. So don't laugh too hard, please. So going forward, trying to encourage these guys, get behind them. There's a big bicycle school coming up, and I'm like, Michael put in, he's like, I want to go. And so, being the old captain of the shift, I'm like, I'm going to go too, bond with them, really get to know them, and have a good time with them, and really interact and try to get down in the dirt with them. So it was an absolutely great time. It was some of the most fun we had. I was able to share some videos with everybody, with the family, and there's a lot of laughter. It didn't really work out well for me in the end. A torn ACL, meniscus, 3 fractures. So, my plan didn't work out so well for me. But the silver lining for me was that I really got to know Michael, and that was the best part about it. I learned about his family, his friends, of course, his current girlfriend at the time, which we all made fun of him constantly, telling him he was hitting way above his average. So... And then we all know how that one ended. So, but again, it was a great topic of conversation, and we thoroughly enjoyed that school. So, and I'm going to tell just a couple quick stories to get this going. This is for Michael. I would never do this, being a stickler for uniformity, and everybody looking. You guys will get this when I get this going. It's not done yet. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Yes, I should have staged the adhesive for this. Yeah, you guys know what's coming. Hold on. All right. You got a good shot of me, everyone? This is killing me. Only for your son would I do this. All right. So, we talked about bike school. Michael and Jimmy Zola, they were ready to get out and get after it. Sergeant Pollard was sitting right over there, runs the bike detail. The community loves the bikes. They get out there, they're able to interact with the community, able to interdict crime. It's everything that we want as an agency. Little did Megan know that she would actually get 2 additional children besides the 2 that she has with Michael and Jimmy, so she was affectionately known as their second mother. those two and the stories on the bikes, I can't even begin to go into it, and I won't. So, Michael's career progresses. He did have one little mishap I might bring up here for quickly. He might have had a little fender bender, and during that fender bender, a car might have ended up upside down. But Michael, being who he was a great sport about it. He knew something was going to happen. He was going to face some discipline. He took it in stride as he always did. His resilience was something to behold. But it's really, that's really not the point of the story. The more of the point of the story is the kind of the informal discipline that takes place on our shift. So in order really to make Michael, remember that you might want to drive just a tad bit slower, we posted some reminders. And we've seen the movie Top Gun, a great movie from the 80s. Here's Michael superimposed on Tom Cruise's face saying, "I was inverted." Another great movie here, obviously, Talladega Nights. Michael superimposed on Will Ferrell's face, running from the car as well. Tom Cruise, use your witchcraft to get this fire off of me. Help me, Oprah Winfrey. So also hung with pride. Just had to bring this one as well. Anyway, you've seen the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Great show as well. I'm not going to sing because I really don't want to embarrass myself, but you guys, I'm sure if you heard the theme song, this is how we changed it. Now, this is a story all about how my car got flipped and turned upside down. Another good one as well. Some other stuff that we did too. Obviously driving wasn't his best trait, so we made sure that he wore a helmet, i.e. his bicycle helmet, if we ever let him drive. He was also a good sport about it as well. A couple of the Christmas posters, the flyers were going up. These guys love these hats, this as well. And probably the most favorite picture that we all have of him that was through the collage that you guys had going was him in the hat that I'm actually wearing right now. But as time went on, I'll tell you right now, Michael never blinked an eye. All the harassment, everything we gave him, every day I made him sit in roll call with a toy police car, and was like, "This is all you're driving today." I would tell Jimmy Zolo, "You are driving Miss Daisy until the foreseeable future." He was great, and he never once took it in the wrong way, and it was an absolutely admirable quality. So we had some things to do. We're always getting tasked out to do stuff. Chief Russin was asking me, "Hey, we got to get this. We're having some issues with some property crime at the mall. We got to take care of it." And those of us in the room, at least work there, would probably groan a little bit if they were getting sent to the mall detail. And I go, "You know what? No drive-in. They can ride on bikes. This is a perfect job for Jensen. Send them right there." So obviously we sent them there. They went with a big smile on their face, and they never looked back. They rode the right bikes around Destiny. They were making friends, making arrests. The tenants at Destiny USA were happy with the enhanced police presence. I was getting good results from it. Property crime was going down. Everything was good. It wasn't all hard work and no play for them. They would come back to the PSB, and everybody he can verify, "How's everything going?" And then they would tell me, and I would just shake my head and be like, "Why do I ever ask you how it's going?" There's a theme to this because I continually would make that mistake. But they took this, unenviable job, and they earned Officers of the Month in December of 2023. So that's something that I know you guys are extremely proud of, and the hard work that you guys put in there did not go unnoticed. So the theme with those two, I could give them anything. I'd give them the worst job imaginable. I could send them underneath the I-81 overpass, completely naked in the middle of winter with no clothing or no nothing, and they would never complain. All I would say was, "Yes, sir, we got you, whatever you need." It was just the way they were. And then they would always come back and inappropriately tell me some random story about how they did something that they shouldn't have done, maybe bent the rules a little bit, or maybe got some girl's random number, and I'm like, "I'm not asking you guys, please stop doing this to me." And it never stopped with them. Just the last time that I really had a good conversation with Michael was about a week and a half ago. Him and Jimmy came up to my office. I gave him a bunch of assignments. They became my go-to guys for me to do a lot of stuff on the North District. And I'm like, "Hey, meet me up at the Special Investigations Division. I got to cover a couple things with you. I got to get some emails out." No problem. They're in the office. They're talking to me. I'm getting everything down. I need to get noted so I can notify the people of what happened and Captain Fournier walks into the office as they're talking to me. Anybody who doesn't know Captain Fournier knows that he is the ultimate harasser. Like, he immediately got after him, started making fun of him. You're in here all alone, sucking up to your boss. What are you two weasels doing? Like, and he rode him for a good 5 minutes. And I'm like, finally, I'm getting a little revenge on these guys for everything they do to me, all the gray hairs. And Brian is just riding them, and it's great. So we get everything, we're done, and I finally go, all right, Michael, we know what happened to the ex. I'm like, what's going on in the girl situation? Just give me an idea. Well, I never learned my lesson. That opened the floodgates, of course, and Michael had Captain Fournier and I in tears in our office, dying laughing, telling stories about the various pickup lines, strategies that he had, and you wouldn't believe it if I told you, and I'm like, all right, I don't believe anything you're telling me. I go, prove it. And then that's where the story is going to have to end, because we're in the house of the Lord, Father, and so you can use your imaginations. So, again, I never learned my lesson with Michael. So I got to wrap this up here, and unfortunately this last portion of it is the hardest portion, but I got to put my serious hat back on. In society, we often talk about heroes a lot. Sometimes it tends to be an overused word, and sometimes it tends to be kind of an underused word. By definition, in Webster's, it is as follows: a mythological or legendary figure, often of divine descent, endowed with great strength or ability, an illustrious warrior, a person admired for achievements and noble qualities, one who shows great courage. Heroes come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. They can be athletic figures, referencing hockey like Mario Lemieux or Wayne Gretzky, or they could be, famous generals such as Dwight Eisenhower, George Patton. They also can be the heroes of, like the nurses and doctors working in an emergency room every single day, 24/7, to take care of all of us. Or they can be the single parent who's working 2 jobs 7 days a week just to support their families, put food on the table, heat, and a warm roof, and a roof over their head. They can also be the family pet, that saves a young child from a wild animal attack, or a service dog that helps someone who is suffering from PTSD or some type of emotional trauma. Heroes and heroism take place in our society every day. Some heroes rise from the ashes like a phoenix, while other heroes fall from grace. Heroes come and go during the course of our lives. This is all part of life, and it's something we learn from a very early age. Nobody truly knows if we have what it takes to be a hero until we are truly tested. We only hope that we can prepare to train ourselves enough in the event that we are called upon to do so. In writing this, I could go on and tell you guys stories, funny stories about Michael that would just make you laugh in stitches till you got tears coming down your face. But I wouldn't be doing you the full justice by not telling you the full story of Michael Jensen. In order to do that, I wanted to review everything from the body-worn camera, every piece of information from his last shift on April 14th, 2024. I was cautioned by several people that I work with, men and women that I greatly admire, about watching it and what I was going to view. But I need to know what happened in order so I could fully tell you that story. Okay, so you could fully understand the complete story of Michael Jensen and what he meant to everyone. Upon reviewing all that footage that day, I sat back in my chair in the Criminal Investigations Division, and I took a deep breath and just processed what I saw. I sat there for about another 10 seconds, and then, believe it or not, I kind of had a strange reaction. I kind of smiled just a little bit. And everyone in this room who was looking at me and watching this video on live stream is probably thinking the same thing that I was. Why would somebody ever smile after watching something as tragic, as traumatic as that? And I was like, is there something wrong with me? Is this me trying to process this? I was trying to get a grasp on it. And then I just thought for another second, and I'm like, this all starts to make sense. The explanation for it's actually pretty easy. Everyone in this room, everyone in the community, everyone throughout the country, we all gained a new hero. We all gained a new hero. I can tell you, Mr. and Mrs. Jensen, without a shadow of a doubt, that what I watched Michael do on that day was one of the most heroic things that I've ever seen in my entire life. The most heroic thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Michael's actions that day saved countless lives, including some of the people who are in this room today. The bravery and the courage he displayed was something It is truly remarkable. Truly remarkable. I don't think anybody in this room, and me included, could find enough words to describe what I watched him do that day, and I don't think anybody's going to ever be able to do so. You just cannot put what his actions did today into words. So, that being said, again, we're going to take a look at the definition according to Webster's. What is a hero? It's a mythological or legendary figure of divine descent, endowed with great strength or ability. That box is checked. An illustrious warrior. That box is checked. A person admired for achievements and noble qualities. That box is checked. One who shows great courage. That box is checked. Webster's dictionary needs to add one more subsection to the definition of hero. Subsection E will simply say, Michael Jensen. Mr. and Mrs. Jensen, Shelley, and on behalf of the Syracuse Police Department and everybody here in this audience, I want to extend my deepest condolences to you and your family. Michael was truly one of a kind, and I can promise you, like everybody has said here today, that he will never be forgotten. Heaven got a good one. Heaven got a good one for sure. We all know in this room that Jensen, that cheesy mustache of his, is going to be watching over all of us. Jensen, we love you, buddy. We'll miss you. God bless everybody in this room today.
Let us stand now and pray. Lord God, whose Son left us in the sacrament of his body and blood, food for the journey, mercifully grant that, strengthened by it, our brother Michael may come to the eternal table of heaven, where Jesus lives and reigns forever and ever.
Amen.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
Let us bless the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Paul and Michelle, Shelley Ann, Jared, to you and to all your family, I do want to extend the deepest sympathy of our diocesan family and assure you that in the days and weeks ahead, certainly our doors are open to you, but also know of our prayers. To all the men and women in blue, I just want you to know our deepest appreciation for all you do. Officer Gilbert might have been a little nervous what he was saying in church. However, being the proud uncle of a man in blue, I know some of the stories, for better or for worse. And so I want you to know today in a special way that you too are in our thoughts and in our prayers, and that we are, as Father Angelicio said earlier, very proud for all that you do in service of our community. And so, trusting in God, we have prayed together for Michael. Now we come to the last farewell. There's sadness in parting, but we take comfort in the hope that one day we shall see Michael again and enjoy his friendship. Although this congregation will disperse in sorrow, the mercy of God will gather us together again in the joy of his kingdom. Therefore, let us console one another in the faith of Jesus Christ. Commend our brother in the sure and certain hope that together with all who have died in Christ, he will rise with him on the last day. We give you thanks for the blessings that you bestowed upon Michael in this life, especially the blessing of his family and friends. They are signs to us of your goodness and of our fellowship with the saints in Christ. Merciful Lord, turn toward us and listen to our prayers. Open the gates of paradise to your servant, and help us who remain to comfort one another with assurances of faith, until we all meet in Christ and are with you and with our brother forever, through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
And Michael, may the angels lead you into paradise, and the martyrs come to welcome you and take you to the holy city, the new and eternal Jerusalem. May the choirs of angels welcome you and lead you to the bosom of Abraham. And where Lazarus is poor no longer, may you find eternal rest. Whoever believes in me, even though that person dies, shall live. I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. I am the resurrection and the life. In peace, let us take our brother to his place of rest.
At this time, I invite the Syracuse Police Department to come forth and have their final walkthrough for Michael.
funeral mass now wrapping up here at St. John the Baptist in Rome, New York. The service went on for 2 hours and 15 minutes, concluding dramatically with the singing by the choir of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, as the entire Syracuse Police Department has now exited the church, joined by some 40 to 50 retired members who have long since been off the job but followed their call to duty to be here today to support the department in the city of Syracuse. Officer Michael Jensen remembered with numerous humorous stories about his life from his mother, Michelle, his father, his sister, all taking a moment to remember him. Bishop Lucia and Father Angelicchio now exiting the church, and shortly the flag-draped casket will follow, along with Jaime, Pastor Jaime from Syracuse, the Syracuse Police Department Chapel. Captain David Metz eulogized Officer Jensen not just for his acts over his 2.5 years as an officer, but for the actions he took last Sunday night, his final moments as a Syracuse police officer. He was killed in the line of duty, and Captain Metz shared with us for the first time that he was killed while saving the lives of countless others. His actions that night saved the lives of many, according to the captain, including those who are at the church today, meaning his fellow officers who were in harm's way. And that's how he's being remembered today, as a hero. You may recall at the start of our broadcast today, we were describing the perfect weather conditions, the sunshine, the warmth. The tone has changed dramatically since then, just in terms of the wind picking up, the clouds rolling in. But still, all the dedicated public servants lined up by the hundreds here down Dominic Street, now in the direction of the St. John Cemetery, which will be the next stop for Officer Jensen and his family, as the pallbearers now carry him out of the church. What you're watching is the pallbearers, the funeral director, Nicholas Bush, coordinating pallbearers representing the Syracuse Police Department, close friends from Rome of Officer Michael Jensen, his parents, Michelle, Paul, his sister, Shelly Ann, his brother-in-law, all within that group, surrounded by blue, the ranking officers of the Syracuse Police Department. Chief Cecil and others present today, making sure the family is surrounded. One of Officer Jensen's friends and fellow officers, Officer Perdome, shared a story that was told at the Jensen household here in Rome this week about after the funeral, making sure that the door never closes again, that the family continues to get that same support and sense of belonging that it has existed throughout this week as they've remembered their close friend and dedicated public servant, Michael Jensen. You see just over the hearse that will carry him to St. John's Cemetery, the flags now blowing in the wind more dramatically than they did at the start of the service, including one for the Onondaga County Sheriff's Department, which brings us to what still lies ahead for this community, for this region, for this state, remembering Deputy Michael Husak, the lieutenant who also was killed in the line of duty last Sunday night in the town of Salina neighborhood. He was the one in the backyard. They had surrounded the home. Officer Jensen in the front with his partner, Officer Zolo, and 2 other Syracuse police officers. And again, perhaps the most dramatic moment of this funeral mass was Officer Jensen's commander calling him a hero for his acts last Sunday night that saved lives. Here's a overhead tribute coming now from Air Force One helicopter and I believe the State Police helicopter as well. Yeah, Michelle and Paul Jensen, the parents of Officer Michael Jensen, his sister right behind, being escorted by members of the Syracuse Police Department. Their motorcycle escort will lead the procession down Dominic Street to St. John's. That was the leadership of the police department just passing our camera, including Chief Cecil, Chief Trudell, family members close to the Jensens, and they are numerous, walking back to their motorcade of cars that will follow down to the cemetery for that private burial. If you've been able to watch throughout the last 2.5 hours, there were certainly moments of levity inside the church. Fond memories, laughs that broke the tension. But now, as the reality of what lies ahead for the family, for this department, hits everyone, the emotions are much more grim, tangible, and very real. Perhaps the only way to relate to this for the rest of us, the everyday person, the lay person, not in law enforcement, is recalling in your own family when you've experienced tragedy, the more expected ends of life that come. Now the period of grieving can last a very long time and even twist your sense of time. And that certainly is what this family, this community of Syracuse and Rome, as the adopted community for Syracuse for the day, is experiencing now and will be in the days and weeks to come. The pallbearers now returning to their vehicles. This procession will get underway. You can see overhead now the front end of the procession moving down Dominic Street, the center of this community for a century. The hearse with Officer Jensen's remains about to start rolling as the motorcade will proceed no more than a mile down the road to St. John the Baptist Cemetery for that private burial service. And there they go. During the funeral mass today, Captain Metz from the Syracuse Police Department extended gratitude toward the community of Rome. The mayor here, Mayor Lanahan, the police department, Oneida County, the county executive Pacente, and certainly Nicholas Bush and their funeral services, Father Angelicchio and St. John the Baptist, for welcoming the Syracuse community, the Syracuse Police Department to this town to celebrate Officer Jensen's life and to remember him as a hero. It is a day that will not be forgotten by the community of Rome or the city of Syracuse. It'll be remembered as a sad time, but one of showing great reverence for a dedicated public servant. As we begin to wrap up our coverage here from Rome, it's important to remember that Deputy Husak will also be laid to rest on Monday, that funeral service taking place at the Expo Center at the fairgrounds. Officer Jensen's family still has a long day ahead here, off to the cemetery, and then a reception at Griffiths Air Base for those out-of-town guests who will have a moment to grab a bite to eat and finally maybe get off their feet. Hundreds of officers here have been standing for the last several hours to pay tribute and to give a salute to Officer Jensen in his final moments here in his hometown. The winds have blown in here. It's been our privilege to cover this. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you again later on tonight.